only get paid if they win. Whether you've been injured in a motor vehicle crash, slip and fall, workplace accident, or through the negligence of someone else, you need attorney Shane Farnsworth fighting on your side. Call now for a free consultation. That's 561-272-8337. You are listening to the Ask the Experts show with host Steve-O. We will be right back with more experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Join us every Thursday from 6 p.m. Now, get ready for more Ask the Experts.
And we are back. This is the second half of Ask the Experts. We're on every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7. That's drive time. And every week we have an expert in their field, legal, health, financial, and home improvement. If you'd like to watch today's show, you can go to our Facebook at Ask the Experts, host Steve-O, and you can watch the show. You're going to love this one. This show, God, I think this is going on year 2, but this is something when it comes to attorney, we all go through at one time. Let me welcome you to our personal injury attorney, Shane Farnsworth. Hi, Shane.
Hi, Steve. How are you today?
How you doing? Good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Gosh, look what's going on down in Texas and Louisiana, because I know you do some work on property damage claims, but a little crazy down there, huh?
Yeah, they had 2 storms coming their way. I know last month we talked about Isaias, I think it was, that was coming our way. Fortunately,
I can't believe you remembered it.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird name, but yeah, so we talked about that last month, so that is something we do. So, as we go through the hurricane season, certainly keep in mind, in addition to the personal injury stuff, we deal with insurance disputes, and we have a hurricane or you have a flood damage or any sort of damage to your house and the insurance companies aren't paying you, we do handle that as well.
Shane, I want to tell you, because we are inundated by bus signs, cab signs, billboards, TV when it comes to personal injury. And it doesn't really tell us about the law firm. When we have a show like this, Ask the Experts, you actually get to hear the attorney and how he does business. And one of the things that I love about, Shane, how you conduct your business is customer service is really important to you. And, you don't have one of these firms that have 50 lawyers that you're a number to, and you really go out of your way to do that personal touch.
Yeah, my firm it's like you said, we're a small firm. It's myself. I have another attorney who's joined the firm of counsel to my firm. So we have 2 attorneys. We have 2 support staff, and that's really that's our entire office. We're sort of a boutique type firm. We don't handle huge amounts of cases. We concentrate on taking care of the people that we do have and giving them the utmost customer service. And obviously, we hope that in doing so, that leads to them referring back to us, their friends and family, when they're involved in accidents or need legal help.
Well, I guess the first thing that comes to mind are automobile accidents. And even with COVID, those haven't stopped at all, have they?
They haven't. It seems, especially during the shutdown, they slowed down a bit. But no, that in South Florida, we have a lot of people, and there's a lot of traffic. We have lots of construction. We have lots of people not paying attention when they drive. So there's all kinds of opportunities to get involved in car accidents, unfortunately.
Well, I want to ask you, so if somebody's in an automobile accident, um, we have basically taught them on the show that it's good to hire an attorney. And if they call you, what is the first thing that you do? Well, first of all, you're going to find out if they have a case.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll get you in. Our consultation is free, so it doesn't cost you anything. Right now with COVID, if you're not comfortable coming into the office, we're able to also operate using Zoom meetings, email, things like that to send stuff back and forth. But essentially, whether we're meeting with you live or on Zoom, what we're looking for is the information related to your accident, what happened, try to determine who was at fault. And once we have that information and we know what your injuries are. At that point, we start to contact the insurance companies. We look to the insurance company of the person who caused the accident, which hopefully wasn't you. And the reason we look to them is we want to see whether or not they have what's called bodily injury coverage. That's the insurance you buy that if you're negligent and injure somebody else, that's the insurance that pays for those damages. In terms of your own insurance, there's a few things we're looking for. One thing is we want to set up your PIP claim. PIP is personal injury protection in the state of Florida. We're a no-fault state. So regardless of who causes the accident, the first $10,000 of your medical bills gets paid through your PIP claim. So we help to set up that PIP claim through your insurance. We also look at whether or not you have what's called uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage. That's an extra coverage you can purchase where if you're injured by somebody who either doesn't have bodily injury coverage or has insufficient bodily injury coverage to cover your damages, that's where the UM/UIM would come into play. Then there's another claim we also look at, which is the damage to your car, the property damage. We help our clients with that as well, and helping them to get or rent a car if needed while their car is being repaired, and making sure that's taken care of and fixed properly. Or in the event that your car can't be fixed and is totaled, we try to help make sure that our clients are paid the full value of their vehicle.
Well, I know this is off the subject, but we just got a text from a listener. They want to know if you dine out at a restaurant and you get COVID, can you sue the restaurant? And if so, what kind of attorney do you need?
Well, potentially, if you can show that the way in which the restaurant was being operated was negligent, you may be able to pursue a claim against the restaurant. Um, that would technically be a negligence action, which would be a personal injury action if you suffered damages as a result of that. So at this point, we haven't received any of those, and unless you go to a restaurant and there's 20 people there the same day that come down with it, it's kind of hard to really pinpoint where you got the COVID. But yeah, that is a potential negligence action if they're not operating under the correct guidelines and they're putting you at risk.
Well, Shane, why are the schools so worried about liability?
Well, for the same reason, if children come to school and they get sick and it's found out that there were things that should have been done or it wasn't safe for them to be there in the first place, there's potential liability for that. And obviously, whether you're a business or a public entity, one of the things you look at is risk management, and in that risk management, you want to avoid lawsuits if you can. So I know in Palm Beach County here, we're being relatively cautious, and I know my daughter starts, I think, August 31st, and we're doing remote learning here. So I think I've seen in Martin County, I think that they are live, and I've seen they've had some issues up there where people have had to quarantine. So these are all sort of new things, and then we'll have to see how they play out.
So going back to auto, I hope that answered the question. Getting back to auto accidents, sometimes when you have an injury, Shane, it doesn't show up for 2 or 3 days. So if a person has an accident, should they call you right away or wait and see if, say, a shoulder pain or back pain, low back pain, show up from the auto accident? When do they contact you?
Yeah, we've discussed this before a few times. It's not uncommon if you're involved in an accident that initially at the time of the accident, you may feel okay. You may not, have the aches and pains that may develop over the next 24 to 48 hours. Being involved in an accident's a, sort of traumatic thing. Your adrenaline's rushing, and then you may not feel the effects of it until the next day or the day after. if you're injured in an accident, the best thing to do is get to a doctor as soon as possible to get checked out. And the next thing is, if you're going to be represented by an attorney, get in touch with them as early in the process as possible. We've talked about this before as well. It does a couple of things. One, you have somebody in your corner that, deals with this process on a regular basis to watch out for you and take care of what needs to be done. And the other thing is, if you're not represented by counsel, the insurance companies can talk to you directly. And especially if somebody else causes the accident, their insurance company, when they call you, may or may not have your best interests at heart. And they may ask you questions that you may think are, relatively benign, but they may be designed to, cause problems if you make a damage claim later on down the line. So if you have an attorney, we step into your shoes, and at least through the third party insurance, unless we give them permission, they don't get to speak to you. As far as your own insurance, with a first party claim, you have a duty of cooperation. So you will be speaking with them most likely, but we will meet with you and prepare before that to let you know what to expect. And we'll be present with you during that conversation. So if there's questions that are asked that are inappropriate, or we think things aren't going the way they should, we can step in and protect your rights at that point.
Well, they sure aren't going to offer you the best offer, are they?
If you're working on your own, no, absolutely not. But, we talk about
so
all the time that
important.
insurance companies are supposed to, what they do is collect premiums. That's how they make money, not by paying claims. So, sometimes you'll hear of people, they get called from the insurance company, a day or so after the accident, they offer them some money. Well, they're doing that for a reason. They know that chances are, if you are injured, your claim's going to be worth significantly more than what they're offering you. So if they can get you to settle your claim early for a lesser amount, in the long run, it saves them money.
Last thing they want is to hear Shane Farnsworth is representing them. So does your office help a client getting their car repaired?
Yeah, obviously, when you get into an accident, the main part of the claim that we're dealing with is the injuries, but there's also the problem of having damage to your vehicle. And, if you're lucky and the car's not too bad, you're able to drive it. We'll help you get the adjuster out to look at it, get it in and get it fixed. And while the vehicle's there, make sure you get a rental car so you're able to get around, get to work, get to school, wherever it is you need to get to. In a more serious situation where your car is totaled and the insurance company decides that the cost to repair would exceed, the value of just paying you the amount the car is worth, we'll help you with that as well. Like I said, insurance companies generally, they don't want to pay you the money that your car is worth. So we'll help you in making sure that the offer is fair and getting that resolved for you, so you can get as much money as possible to go purchase a new car if your car has been totaled.
Okay. We're going to go to break. Before we go to break, do you think people are afraid to retain an attorney because they think they can't afford it?
I'm sure that crosses people's minds, but in the personal injury field, we use what's called a contingency fee contract. Basically, what that means is if we don't collect any money for you, it doesn't cost you anything for us to represent you. So you don't really run into that obstacle in a personal injury case.
But do people know that, though?
Well, yeah, most of the time you see in commercials, no recovery, no fee. So attorneys do put that out there. But, basically what you have to understand is if we recover any money for you, if it's pre-suit, we get 33 1/3% of what we recover. If we have to file a lawsuit, that then goes up to 40%. So that's covered by the Florida bar. So it's not a number that we make up. That's the maximum amount they'll allow us to charge. But you don't pay anything up front, personal injury action. If we don't collect anything for you, it doesn't cost you anything.
Okay. Give everybody your phone number, Shane.
Sure. 561-272-8337. And you can also visit our website at farnsworthlaw.net.
We're going to go to break. When we come back, we have more with attorney Shane Farnsworth. We'll be right back.
As an experienced personal injury attorney, Shane Farnsworth understands the key to success in your case. You are entitled to compensation for your injuries, medical bills, lost wages, and personal loss. Mr. Farnsworth will go to trial if you are not offered the fair settlement that you deserve. The law offices of Shane M. Farnsworth, VA, has established itself as one of the leading personal injury law firms in the South Florida area. They give all their personal injury clients a promise. If they don't recover monetary damages in your case, you will not pay any attorney's fees. Shane M. Farnsworth, VA, offers a free consultation to evaluate your legal case. If they take your case, they only get paid if they win. Whether you've been injured in a motor vehicle crash, slip and fall, workplace accident, or through the negligence of someone else, you need attorney Shane Farnsworth fighting on your side. Call now for a free consultation. That's 561-272-8337.
We are back. This is the Ask the Expert show. We're on every Monday and Thursday from 6 to 7 drive time. On your drive home, we have the leading experts in health, legal, financial, and home improvement. You can actually watch our show right now by going to our Facebook, and it's Ask the Experts, host Steve O. And I got to tell you, that personal injury, this everybody can relate to this. We talk about auto accidents, but there's also slip and falls. There's dog bites. There's motorcycle accidents. Shane covers a lot of different areas. Shane, what is fair value? What is that?
Well, basically, the way that I define that is, if you're injured, you suffer damages, and fair value is the amount of money that covers those damages and makes you whole.
Okay. Now, I was told that if you wreck a brand new Mercedes and it's totaled, you get a new Mercedes, not a Ford, or a Chevrolet Equinox. They have to give you the same value. Is that right?
Are you talking about as far as a rent-a-car or your own car?
A rent-a-car.
On that, I'm not. I know you mentioned that before. I'm not aware of that they have to give you a Mercedes if you have a Mercedes. Sometimes it depends on, what the limit is that insurance company has, what you're able to rent. But certainly, if your car is totaled through your own insurance company, or through the third party company, you're entitled to be paid the value of your vehicle. One thing that's important that sometimes people don't understand is when you buy a vehicle and you drive off the lot, it's not worth what it was when you were sitting on the lot. So one thing that I'll just mention is you can purchase what's called gap insurance. What that does is if you have a car loan and your car gets totaled and the value of that vehicle doesn't amount to the loan, that gap insurance covers that. So in terms of property damage claims, that's something that you may want to consider purchasing through your insurance if you have a car that's a loan on it and it may be worth less than the loan.
What should people make sure they have when it comes to buying auto insurance?
Well, we've talked about before in the state of Florida, the only coverages you're actually required to have legally are PIP and property damage, which property damage pays if you damage someone else's property, and PIP, like we talked about earlier, is medical bills. So I always tell people it's super important for you to buy what's called bodily injury coverage. We talked about that a little bit earlier. If you're negligent, if Steve runs into me and I get injured, his bodily injury coverage is the insurance that compensates me for my injuries. Another very important coverage is uninsured motorist coverage. That would be if Steve ran into me and Steve either doesn't carry bodily injury coverage or he doesn't have sufficient bodily injury coverage. If I purchase uninsured motorist coverage, that will then kick in to compensate me for my damages. There's also a little caveat with uninsured motorists. They have what's called stacked and on-stacked or non-stacked. Non-stacked means that whatever your limit is, that's for, if you have 3 cars and your limit is 100,000, 300,000 non-stacked, that means you get 100,000 per person, 300,000 per incident. If you have stacked uninsured motorist coverage, it's more expensive, but you get to stack the coverage for those 3 vehicles. So you would have $300,000 per person per incident, and 900,000 on the overall for if there's more than one person. So if you can afford the stacked uninsured motorist coverage, that's a great coverage to have. But you should definitely look at having uninsured motorist coverage, because in the state of Florida, there's no shortage of people that either don't have any insurance, or they have, just the bare minimum without bodily injury or insufficient bodily injury.
I heard to be careful in Dade County because only 50% of the people have car insurance. Now, I don't know if that's right or not, but I had a police officer tell me that. Here's a great question, Shane, here's a listener. I have an attorney that I'm not happy with. Can I go to another attorney for a second opinion?
Yeah, so if you're not happy, you have the right to fire your attorney and hire counsel if you're choosing. One thing when that happens to keep in mind is if you have your attorney has put out costs on your behalf, they may have a lien for the work they've done, the quantum merit value of the work they've done, plus any costs they put out when you switch attorneys. Sometimes they'll impose that lien, sometimes they won't. But it's ultimately your case. You have the right to be represented by who you choose. So if your attorney's not doing a job you're satisfied with, you have the right to go out and retain other counsel.
Well, I tell you what, I like the fact that because these insurance companies, when you're dealing with them, they're very good at what they do, aren't they? When it comes to negotiating.
The adjusters are trained to work in that field. That's what they do all day, every week, all year. So that's their domain. And if you're not familiar with it, it can certainly be a treacherous and perilous place to operate on your own.
So it's really to your benefit, especially if it doesn't cost you anything up front. And like you said, if you get paid, they get paid. Now, it is different if you have to go to court to litigate, and then that's all decided by the state.
It's the fee isn't the contingency fee isn't different. It's still contingent. If you don't recover any money, you don't pay anything. The difference is when you file a lawsuit, the amount the fee pre-suit is 33.33%. When you file the lawsuit, it goes to 40%. So they're up to $1 million. Then if you get more than $1 million, then there's certain other brackets that you would go into. But basically, for today's purposes, it's 33.33% pre-suit, 40% when you file suit. But regardless of which of those it is, if there's no money recovered, you don't pay. So it's worth talking to an attorney. And like I said, in our office, the consultation is free, so it doesn't cost anything to call and get to know us a little bit better and see if we're a good fit to represent you.
Now, your office is in Delray, but it doesn't matter. If they're in Plantation, you are doing the video streaming like we're doing now.
That's correct. We represent people throughout the state of Florida. We're located in Delray Beach, but we represent people in Miami, Broward, Palm Beach. We always talk about, I usually have cases in Central Florida. I have a case I'm litigating in Pinellas County right now, Marion County. So we have one up in Duval. So, no matter where you are in the state, we can represent you, but our office is physically located in downtown Delray Beach. So if you're coming to visit us, that's where you would go.
And then if they're in the hospital, again, they're conscious, they can also do the video streaming.
Absolutely. And, if you're in the hospital or your car is wrecked and it's not drivable, we can come to you if need be. So, either physically or, like I said, nowadays since the pandemic, one of the tools we've been utilizing quite often, not just for meetings in the office, but in court as well, is using Zoom meetings. So, we can certainly arrange that, a telephone conference. There's other ways if you're not comfortable meeting, personally with us at this point, or if you don't have the ability to. Like I said, we can either make arrangements or we can come to you, either or.
Shane, how long have you been in practice?
I have been practicing since 1990, about 22 years next month.
You've seen a lot.
I've seen a lot, yes.
So it's so important, like in it, if you have a relative or a friend who's been in an accident and you need a good attorney that really knows what he's doing. And this is 98% of his business. Is that right? As a personal injury attorney, give him his phone number. Give your phone number out.
Sure. The phone number is 561 272 8337. And once again, like I said, the website, you can visit there as well. It's farnsworthlaw.net. And on that website, we have all our past radio shows, so you can take a look at those. We also have video FAQs that have a lot of the typical personal injury questions that you may have. You might be able to find that on there specifically. So feel free to visit the website. You can contact us through the website or, once again, by phone, 561-272-8337.
I totally endorse Shane Farnsworth. He is a great personal injury attorney. And as always, he'll be back with us again next month. Shane, thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. Stay safe. Have a good night.
We'll see you all on Thursday. Take care.